Good afternoon and welcome to St George's Park, the home of English football, as two global heavyweights in Powerchair Football go head to head. England versus the United States of America in an international fixture between two leading nations on either side of the Atlantic. My name is Ryan Sipple, and I'm delighted to be joined by Charlie McClellan for full commentary, analysis, and the action. Across the past season, we've had the privilege of covering domestic competitions, continental championships, and the Club World Cup drama, but few fixtures carry the weight, storylines, and future implications such as this one. Charlie, how are you?
I am absolutely buzzing for this. We've had a great season, haven't we, Ryan? We've been very, very lucky to see some very high quality football. This is a bonus match that we didn't know if we were going to get after the season. And wow, what a game, what a spectacle we have ahead. Team USA versus England, two sides at the very top of the Powerchair footballing pyramid. England side we've seen a lot of, obviously, hosting their visitors here. The USA, who have just entered the court in blue, where they're challengers. It's going to be an absolute cracker.
Absolutely, it will. This game follows a landmark joint training camp between the two nations, the first of its kind, bringing together players, coaches and staff for a week of shared learning, high-level training, and that real cultural exchange. A historic moment for the sport and a clear sign of how seriously both of these programs are investing in the long-term development. The England side obviously very much part of the Football Association family, and when it comes to the USA, they also are part of their federation as one of the extended national teams. Friday, the two met in an international friendly, and that 1-1 draw gave us the opening act filled with tactical battles and late drama, but real glimpses of what the sides are building towards. Today, the stakes are different. They have a whole crowd in front of them, cheering them on, and the eyes of the world watching via this stream. For England, this camp has been a critical step on the road to the EPFA Nations Cup later this year, the European Championships that also double as qualifications for next year's World Cup. And with a squad brimming with competition, today may be the final audition for several players as head coach Adam McEvoy edges closer to finalising his tournament selection. The team is in transition, but also in contention, looking to blend their elite experience with the emerging youth while maintaining the high expectations that now come with wearing the three Lions badges. Let's go through the squads and you can get a feel for how things are building here at St George's Park.
Yeah, for England, number 2 Ethan Fisher, number 4 Ed Common, number 7 Chris Gordon, number 8 Jonathan Boulding, number 9 Marcus Harrison, number 10 Dan McClellan, number 11 Tyler Reeve, number 19 Brad Bates, and cut off by the graphic number 21 Dylan Kelsall as well. A very strong group of players for Adam McEvoy to select from. We've been informed that it will be a starting four of Chris Gordon in goal, John Boulding the captain in the centre, Marcus Harrison and Ed Common on the wings. So it's a very strong four, a four that have played in World Cup semi-finals, World Cup finals, won a European Championships. They have become for so long so synonymous with English Powerchair football. That strong starting four that we're going to see on display in the first half for England here today.
Yeah, and for the United States, this fixture concludes their overseas tour, one of the most ambitious international ventures ever undertaken in the sport's history. With Tracey Mayer at the helm, this camp has served not only to sharpen that tactical identity, but also expose players to elite competition ahead of a packed international calendar with the America's Cup and qualification for the World Cup on the horizon. This is more than a friendly. This is a foundation for long-term growth. To go through their squad in its entirety: Nathan Mayer, Jordan Dickey, Lexi Here, Michael Rayton, Lindsay Munch, Pete Winslow, David Dowling, Zach Dickey, and their coach, of course, Tracey Mayer. You can feel the atmosphere building here at St George's Park, and we are ready to get underway. Beyond the technical and tactical storylines, today represents something larger. Two nations committed to investing in the sport, committed to giving their players world-class opportunities, and committed to raising the standards of Powerchair football on and off the court. The backdrop of St George's Park with world-class facilities provides the perfect platform to showcase just how far the game has come and where it's heading next.
Yeah, this really is such a great home for English Powerchair football. We've seen many great occasions here, cup finals, England games, England training. This is where it all happens. You can see just how good of a venue it is, that big grandstand which is slowly filling up with spectators, players from the national leagues here in England, players who will be hoping to one day be in that white jersey that the England players are adorning now. It's such a great occasion, a fantastic spectacle, the first ever broadcast friendly here in England on home soil for the English national team. It's a real privilege to be involved in this.
Yeah, whether you're a long-time follower of Powerchair football or tuning in for the first time, you'll see a game that combines technical finesse and strategic depth, played by elite athletes who consistently redefine what is possible. This isn't about representation, it's about high-performance sport played by some of the best in the world. These two faced one another twice at the most recent World Cup in 2023 and both won a game each. So with a brilliant crowd in attendance and a fantastic venue beneath us, these two proud nations are ready to write another chapter. Just to go through a little bit of a recap from Friday's friendly. It finished 1-1, a tightly contested encounter that reflected the quality, discipline and tournament focus of both teams. The match opened at a high tempo before setting into a cagey tactical battle. England took the lead midway through the first half with John Balding on the score sheet after a sustained spell of pressure and a fortunate deflection. The USA responded soon after through a well-worked set piece. Pete Winslow, the one ultimately finding a way through the England defence. But both teams showed flashes of attacking threat, but chances remained limited in open play. The USA impressed with their structured pressing and fluid forward rotations, while England finished the stronger and came so close to snatching a winner late on. Overall, a balanced contest, and it leaves bragging rights on the line for this one here this afternoon. A huge thank you to everyone that's tuning in already. Got such fantastic numbers in our stream as we are building to something really, really special. If you're tuning in quick for the first time, we'll go through the squads very quickly once again on the screen before we're scheduled for a kick-off in just over 10 minutes time. England have Ethan Fisher, Ed Common, Chris Gordon, John Balding, Marcus Harrison, Dan McClellan, Tyler Reeve and Brad Bates. And for the USA, on your screens now, behind the graphic of their large emblem, Nathan Mayer, Jordan Dickey, Lexi Here, Michael Rayton, Lindsay Munch, Pete Winslow, David Dowling and Zach Dickey. That being said, I can see several of their players on the far side who are not in their sport-specific chairs. So some of those players, most notably Zach Dickey, look unlikely to feature.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I understand it because they can only, at the end of the day, take a squad of 8 to major tournaments. So they want to try and replicate that big game, that tournament feel in a game like this. I understand it. It's probably, in terms of a friendly, the most intense and the most competitive it's going to get, with all the stakes surrounding. I mean, the amount of cameras in this building right now suggests that this is a lot more than just a friendly. The crowd, the atmosphere in the arena as the players came out. This is definitely not being treated as a kickabout. This is going to be a very, very competitive match of football.
Yeah, you can see England on your team. I think there's a real familiarity with their squad. At the heart of it are, of course, their 4 players who have been central to the team ever since it came under the FA banner back in 2014. Chris Gordon, Ed Common, Marcus Harrison and John Balding. They're the names you immediately associate with England Powerchair Football. Chris Gordon and Ed Common are now tied as the squad's most capped players on 54 appearances each. Gordon's experience and calmness at the back continues to give England their structure, while Common's record speaks for itself. 50 goals, Charlie, in the 54 games in which he's represented his country.
Yeah, Ed Common is a top quality operator. We all know that. Anyone who watches him in the National League week in, week out will know that. His side here, Teesside, won the league this season. He was voted the standout player in the division. He is such a top quality operator, and when he's required in an England shirt, when England need him, they turn to their magician Ed Common. He provides goals, he provides assists, he provides stability in key moments in games. We look at the last competitive meeting between these two sides, which was the 2023 Fit for Powerchair Football World Cup semi-final in Sydney. It was a 1-0 win for England, which sent them to the final, a final that they subsequently lost on penalties to France. But it was a goal from Ed Common, which gave England the win.
Yeah, when you're referencing the wider squad, when I was talking about that fantastic 4, Marcus Harrison sits on 53 caps. Having not featured in Friday's fixture, he now sits 1 behind Common and Gordon. But he remains a key attacking figure, and he starts the game. He has 45 goals, and he's known for just delivering when it matters most for club and country. And then there's John Balding, the captain. 51 appearances after getting on the score sheet in their 1-1 draw the other day. He now has 36 goals, and he is just the engine. He's the heartbeat, setting the tone, both technically and tactically. Collectively, they've carried this team through major tournaments and pressure moments, and even now they remain just as important. Around that experienced core, there's a growing group of players under Adam McEvoy looking to establish themselves on the international stage. Dan McClellan, Brad Bates and Tyler Reeve were all part of the England setup during the 2023 World Cup in Sydney, gaining valuable experience and showing they could step up when it was needed. McClellan regarded as one of the brightest prospects in the world. Brad Bates' wide attacking wing play and Tyler Reeve's sharpness in the final third all bring something slightly different to the squad. Dylan Kelsall, who's quickly made an impression, 10 caps and 8 goals, a maturity that really helps him in these big moments. And then Ethan Fisher, still awaiting his first cap, but clearly a player that England are looking closely at. This camp has been a real opportunity for both to show they can be a part of what's next to come, and that is of course building towards this autumn's EPFA Nations Cup in Italy, where England will be aiming to defend their title they won in 2019 under the stewardship of Colin Gordon. Now it's Adam McEvoy leading, appointed head coach in October of last year. He's had about 9 months to settle into a role and shape the team in his image. He knows this setup inside and out, having coached right through the England pathway, and now he has the chance to lead the senior side into a major tournament of his own. He's joined by Craig Peaty, who in himself brings a wealth of experience, having spent years building the Scotland national team and helping guide them to qualification of the same tournament this September. And with England and Scotland drawn into the same group, that sets up a really interesting subplot.
It does indeed. It's a very strong coaching staff for England. So just a wealth of knowledge in terms of Powerchair football. Adam McEvoy, if you're in England and you are in any way involved with Powerchair football, you will understand how bright of a brain he has for the sport. He is just an excellent coach, an excellent man manager and an excellent tactician. He's got a very strong staff with him as well. I'm very excited to see how his England side shape up. I think it will be much of the same. England have a strong DNA that would never change despite anybody being at the helm. But the little nuances he may be able to bring, the changes that he may be able to make, he'll back himself to deliver a lot of success for this England side.
Yeah, you can see the team just leaving the court, final preparations before they re-enter this beautiful arena at St George's Park. We will observe, of course, the national anthems, and then we will get underway in this historic friendly fixture. But Charlie, I don't think there'll be anything friendly about it, certainly based on what I saw on Friday.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very fiercely competitive from the first whistle. It wouldn't surprise me if referee Millie Bean has a busy day on her hands. We know the set-piece prowess of the United States especially.
Here they enter the court, led by referee Millie Bean, complemented by Steve Crump and Pete Westmoreland, the captains of the respective sides. John Boulding for England, Riley Johnson of USA. And the quality on show is just amazing as they line up. England on the left, USA on the right. England in the familiar white strip, USA in blue and red. We will stop to observe the national anthems before rejoining you. Since the England national team came under the FA's umbrella back in 2014, the record has been incredibly strong. 55 matches played, 42 wins, just 9 defeats and over 200 goals scored. is a clear reflection of how far the programme has come, not just in the results, but in the structure. Today's opponents, however, have proven to be one of the very few nations capable of really pushing England, and in recent years, that fixture has started to feel more and more like a genuine international rivalry. Whilst they've been here together, sharing ideas and collaborating this week, as we've already alluded to, there is nothing friendly about this matchup. Their first meeting came back in 2017, a World Cup semi-final where the USA edged it 2-1. Charlie Kitcher, the goal scorer for England on that occasion. Then came the two clashes in Sydney, which Charlie and I called. The USA won the group stage encounter 3-1, but England got their revenge in the semi-finals with narrow 1-0 win, thanks to Ed Common. Each of those games carried its own tension and narrative, and this is another chapter in that book. Neither was successful in dethroning France, something that's sure to be the ultimate goal in the months and year to come.
This will be a massive indicator of where both teams are at. Obviously, we're a way out from the next international meeting of these two sides, but as you've mentioned, they've both got major tournaments coming up in the next few months. They both need this to go well. They need their preparation to have paid off. This will be a fantastic game, a fantastic clash, and we're nearly ready to go in a very busy arena here in St George's Park.
Thumbs up from the keepers, and we are officially underway. John Balding straight into Marcus Harrison. As already mentioned, the starting four: Chris Gordon, John Balding, Marcus Harrison and Ed Common for England. For the USA, Jordan Dickey, Riley Johnson, Lexi Here and David Dowling. Looking to impose themselves early on into John Balding, across the box, blocked by Jordan Dickey, who's operating in an almost unfamiliar role. Certainly when referencing what we saw in Sydney, I was really impressed with him as the designated goalkeeper in Friday's friendly. But they penned them back early on as Ed Common and Marcus Harrison just shape up and take an indirect free kick.
It's a very different role for Jordan Dickey in goal.
Ed Common into Marcus Harrison, runs across his head, John Balding at the back post, not before a 2-on-1 awarded in the USA's favour. Warning signs early on, but good defensive structure. And that's something you're going to have to look at throughout this game, that almost unfamiliar role, certainly for international audiences. When referencing Jordan Dickey, he's so versatile. We know the threat that Riley Johnson has, and I have no doubt that Pete Winslow is going to feature heavily despite starting on the bench. They have that set piece, the set piece specialists.
Yeah, the mailman they call Pete Winslow, because his delivery just delivers every time. So precise. An absolute cheat code sometimes. Remember in Sydney just being astounded with what they were able to do with the dead ball.
Good work from David Dowling just to cut up the court. He made his debut for the States on Friday, was really impressed with his ability and his presence. He's a real character and leader, and when you haven't got Zach Dickey who provides that vocal presence, you need others to pick up that responsibility. We've spoken about their set pieces. Few teams in the world pose a greater threat than United States. It's a hallmark of their game, meticulously planned, ruthlessly executed and consistently effective. At the 2023 World Cup, I think 70% of their goals came via set pieces. It's a little bit of contact. Nearly Bean awards it in the favour of USA. I think Ed Common deemed the aggressor, who's given his first warning. Riley Johnson diagonally splitting across the court, trying to locate Lexi here. Into Marcus Harrison. Forces it into the USA box, out for an England ball.
Both sides trying to get on the front foot though, which is good to see. Lots of attacking intent on show from both teams. Both warming into this one nicely.
It's the right option from Ed Common, but as has been the case in the opening 3 or so minutes, Jordan Dickey there to cut out. I think both Ed Common and Riley Johnson reluctant to engage that ball in fear of the 2-on-1 being awarded against their side.
Yeah, just a bit of miscommunication in the centre of the pitch, but can happen. Not disastrous in any way.
Boldin finds Ed Common, nearly finds the gap, but engaged by Riley Johnson. Danger still present. Marcus Harrison trying to locate Ed Common, England's all-time leading goal scorer. And once again, they've really pushed the USA back. I can safely say already that they've got more territory and possession in the half of the United States than they had across the whole game on Friday. It was so cagely, so closely contested. This is indirect, has to go via the chair of an opponent or teammate. Into Marcus Harrison, who strikes first time. Ricochets between himself and Riley Johnson, out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that was just a case of England trying to use deceit to throw their opponents off there. It was advertised that the ball would be going to Ed Common.
Harrison just pushing it back to John Boldin. Riley Johnson, such an excellent operator, one of the best worldwide, just trying to force it in that right-hand post. You can probably hear the support of USA.
Yeah, very loud support in this arena.
David Dowling will probably use Lexi here to guide it into over, and now a potential break, beautifully dealt with by Jordan Dickey, and Riley Johnson just not expecting that return pass so quickly. And because of that decisive action from Jordan Dickey, England were also not set. So a 2-on-1 awarded against them to be taken by David Dowling. Tracey Mayer very vocal in front of us, just wanting to ensure that 5 metres separate the ball and Marcus Harrison's chair, which Millie Bean just marks out. He's right on that line. Nice feint by Dowling. Lexi here, the only real option to aim at, and now potential break on, not before contact between Boldin and Lexi here. It's a real unique atmosphere, Charlie.
Yeah, literally everything that the US are winning, corners, 2-on-1s, clearances, are being cheered so loudly by their support, and the 4 players not involved sat directly in front of them as well. It's a real atmosphere being created. Right now it feels like the US are in the ascendancy.
And this is a really good opportunity and a far more favourable angle than the one just a minute ago. David Dowling's going to take again, looking into Riley Johnson, pushes it back into the path of Lexi here. But the second action from the USA captain just doesn't meet its intended target. Good work from Marcus Harrison, just to push it off Riley Johnson.
Yeah, these kind of games where there's a little bit of needle, physicality, they suit Marcus Harrison down to the ground. He is so experienced in games like this as well. He knows how to play against, in the dribble, pretty much all of the top players.
Just like England, I think we've come to expect almost an established group from USA, comprised of the players like Riley Johnson, Jordan Dickey, Pete Winslow. But this camp has been an incredible opportunity for several other players. They've brought 12 here to St George's Park to compete this week ahead of that America's Cup in November. Players like David Dowling, Michael Rayton and Ryan Connolly today will all be looking to impress and make that impression. Unlike England, however, who are expected to confirm their Nations Cup squad as Chris Gordon dribbles it into the box. There was contact from Chris Gordon, just exhales in frustration. But as I was saying, unlike England, who are expected to confirm their Nations Cup squad shortly after this camp, the USA have a little bit of breathing room. Their competition is not till November. They have a camp between now and then as Marcus Harrison connects with the ball, but not as sweetly as he would have wanted, out for a USA goal kick.
Yeah, this is a really good game of football to watch, a real tactical battle. Ed Common there just picking the ball off. That's what England love to do. They love to get those wingers in and using the front bumpers of their chair to bring it to their central players. It's a real trademark of the England game. The US not quite dealing with it so far.
To Jordan Dickey, engaged by Marcus Harrison, very condensed from both teams. That's a beautiful pass from John Boulding, threaded the eye of the needle, but Marcus Harrison wasn't set.
Yeah, he'll be frustrated with that, Marcus Harrison. That's 2 now in the short space on the spin that he's had an opportunity.
Just found that gap which bypassed Riley Johnson. And you're going to have to make opportunities like that count if you're going to punish a side the quality of the USA. Nice pushback from Ed Common into Marcus Harrison, who has John Bolden on the edge. Disguises and masks his intention. USA still struggling to really break, but they may have an opportunity here via David Dowling. Lexi here in support, now joined by Riley Johnson, who engages it with his front bumper. Chris Gordon and John Bolden have to be aware and alert to minimise the opportunity of Riley Johnson, who's continuing to try and find that opening.
Yeah, very animated Tracey Mayer down here right in front of us on this sideline. As the US want to kick in literally every time they go forward. The noise in this arena is incredible.
You can see them just on the edge of your screens, but it's something I definitely noted on Friday. Tracey Mayer doesn't sit still. Quite the opposite for Adam McEvoy on the England bench. Very contained and reserved. David Dowling fires it across the court. Out for a USA ball. Frustration from Tracey Mayer, who looks as if he's going to receive a yellow card from Millie Bean due to those contestants.
Have to say it's fair enough. He has not stopped in the ear of the official so far in this game. I understand the passion, but also there's a line.
John Bolden. It's something that the US are not short of, and that's passion and that's drive.
We spoke about international not so friendly, and it's looking that way so far.
Strong support from the grandstand on the far side of the Steve Daly Sports Hall. It's going to go back to Chris Gordon, who hasn't had a great deal of involvement and probably showed there. Was caught in two minds how to engage that, and Ed Common wasn't set to receive. So David Dowling, on what's only his second ever appearance for his country, trying to find the space.
Yeah, Johnson and Dowling working really hard together to sort of put out the fires that England are setting off. Lexi here is the sort of higher option. Hasn't managed to get the ball much, but the few times she has, it's always been with the view of doing things like that, trying to put balls across the box.
David Dowling to take. Just having a conversation with Lexi here. Doesn't quite possess the power of Pete Winslow, but that's a really nice passage of play. You could see what they were trying to do there. Lexi here acting as that screen, and she was millimetres away from it, but that's exactly what they were going to be hoping to do. Riley Johnson wasn't able to capitalise. It's a very square ball from Marcus Harrison, which puts Ed Common under immediate pressure. 13.5 minutes played. England 0, USA 0.
Yeah, slight stitch up there for Ed Common, but he recovered very well. England's number 4. It's been so tightly contested so far, so entertaining to watch.
Marcus Harrison out for an England ball, despite the appeals of those USA players on the far side. Into Chris Gordon. USA just haven't really been able to impose the quality we've come to expect. Absorbing a lot of attacking pressure, but that's nice from Riley Johnson to just bypass John Boulding. Good opportunity for USA here. David Dowling once again seems to be central to all of these set pieces. Into the box. Over to Lexi here, who fires it over the line. That is a sensational goal. We spoke about the clinicalness of their set pieces. 70% at the most recent World Cup. I said how they didn't quite have that edge without Pete Winslow, but David Dowling there, beautifully finding Lexi here. England 0, USA 1.
Yeah, what a fantastically worked set piece. Just across the box, that ball from David Dowling had precision that I've only ever seen Pete Winslow get on it for the USA. Unbelievably well played. A great finish from Lexi here. She's been isolated so far in this game, but that is her role, to finish off those moves when it comes to her. She took her chance, and the USA have got that lead. Can they hold on to it? Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, brilliant from David Dowling, who has really made an impression, not just in the friendly fixtures, but also the training camp across the week. A lot of the England players have commended him for the levels that he's produced. Into Riley Johnson, just cushions it back into the USA number 10. Represents the Turnstone Flyers in the USA. Not long concluded their nationals, in which Minnesota Shockwave secured their 5th title, their 4th consecutive. Doesn't quite have the power on that occasion, but he has possession. Calls for patience from Tracey Mayer to our right. And he's doing exactly that. Into the box. Lexi here. Attempt at goal from Dowling, wide of that left-hand post.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea actually. It was quite intelligent from David Dowling to try and spin it towards goal, take a bit of a snapshot. Didn't work out. But yeah, the US playing some really interesting football.
Just 3 minutes left of this first half. USA haven't had a great deal of chances, but they've been clinical when given them. And Lexi here is the difference thus far.
Yeah, this outfield 3 is working so well. And obviously with Jordan Dickey in goal, we spoke about it as an unfamiliar role for him. He's not really been tested too much in this game. It's such a composed and experienced presence at the back.
It's an unorthodox approach again that we've almost come to expect from the USA, where the two set players combine with one another. And England, beyond the first couple of minutes, just haven't really been getting their passing going. So it'll be an interesting team talk for Adam McEvoy in just a minute and a half.
Yeah, I think this half-time is going to be very important for England. They have found some ways to get their wingers involved in the game, but not nearly enough. They need to try and bypass that pressure from the United States. They're managing to do it to England very well. Just concentrate them within their own final third, and England will be looking to bite back and do some of that for themselves.
Final minute of regulation time. Riley Johnson back into David Dowling, probably the standout so far. Into Ed Common. Look how condensed they are now as Chris Gordon tries to break. They may have the gap here. Ed Common not able to connect. Just doesn't seem to be clicking. But the beauty for Adam McEvoy is the fact that his bench is packed to the brim with quality, and will no doubt look to that bench as the game goes on.
I think if you're going to pass, you've got to pass well. England haven't done enough of that. They don't get many opportunities to counter, and so one missed pass can cost them nearly 2 or 3 minutes of game time at this point. They need to start being more front-footed and more ruthless in their execution of it.
This is good work from USA. They're just showing their experience here to frustrate England, and I think that's how it's best summarised. A frustrating half on home soil as David Dowling once again can generate so much power, and he sprays the ball into John Boulding on 2 occasions. No real threat of scoring, but so brilliant, and he wins his side another corner.
That is excellent play from David Dowling. Those sort of 4 spins in a row, and then just being able to take it under control and get it in there and just win a corner. So intelligent. And these set pieces, I'd like to see what they're going to do here. Lexi here's got a very deep starting position. She's now making that late surge.
I think she was going to be acting as the screen, but didn't advance up high enough. And now we're nearly a minute over the regulation 20. And that is the half-time break. England started the brighter in the first 5 or so minutes, but from that point onwards, the United States just really came into their own. Jordan Dickey with a very quiet half overall. And USA go into the break, 1 goal to the good. An excellent first half of football, Charlie.
Yeah, a really good advert for what this top-level international competition is about. I know it's a friendly, but you wouldn't be able to tell that in the way that the game has played out. It's been such an entertaining watch. The US have been very impressive. David Dowling has been leading those efforts, but Riley Johnson and Lexi here are also very strong contributors. So good at what they do.
Intrigued to see what Tracey Mayer does here, because you would suspect he's going to want Pete Winslow to feature at some point, but that would probably come in the place of David Dowling, who's been so influential. I had the really unique opportunity to sit down with Tracey Mayer this week to record an episode of the 2-on-1 Powerchair Football podcast, and what really stood out to me was just how significant this camp has been for his group, not just in terms of the performances, but what it represents for the wider programme. He spoke about the passion, the opportunity to bring his squad overseas and spend a full week embedded in this kind of elite environment, from on-court training to these match days. It's given the players a true taste almost of what a major tournament preparation should feel like. talked about the culture they're trying to build. And with the America's Cup coming up in November, and with World Cup qualification on the line, this is the kind of test against a team like England in a setting like St George's Park that will really sharpen their focus and their balance. That America's Cup will be hosted in Arizona, so on home soil, and will bring together 6 top nations across North and South America: Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil, Mexico, Canada and the USA. With only 3 World Cup qualification spots on offer, the competition is set to be fiercely contested, just like the Ep for Nations Cup is set to be contested in Italy. Just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's tuning in. Charlie and I will be back very shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back to St George's Park for the soon-to-be second half in this international friendly between England and USA. As you can see on your screens, a single goal scored by Lexi here. The difference, when we recap and summarise that first 20 minutes, it was England who started the brighter, applying some real early pressure and spending the opening 5 or 6 minutes really camped in the USA half. But credit to the visitors, once they settled into a rhythm, they begun to just completely nullify England's threat. From that point on, very little came off for the host. Chances were few and far between at either end, but the momentum certainly shifted as the half wore on. You could sense the USA were building towards a strong finish, and that's exactly what they delivered. David Dowling was at the heart of it. He's been the standout player so far. Calm, intelligent, and especially dangerous from set pieces, and it was his delivery that created the opener. A perfectly weighted ball played across the face of goal, where Lexi here was waiting to apply the finishing touch. Clinical and composed. So approaching the second half, it's USA who lead 1-0, and England have to do something special if they're to reverse this scoreline.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the US will keep going for it. That's the one thing that will go in England's favour, is I don't see them sitting back and watching this 1-0 lead and trying to conserve it. I see them going for more goals, which may leave them vulnerable on the counter-attack. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting second half indeed.
The team's completely unchanged than that finished the first half. So England have Chris Gordon, John Bolden, Marcus Harrison and Ed Common, and USA have Jordan Dickey, Riley Johnson, David Dowling and Lexi here. Goal kick for England into Ed Common, who just fires it down the line. That's probably what they have to do. It's not easy on the eye, it's not pretty, but just trying to get some territory up the court is what I think they feel is what will yield the most results.
Indeed it will. I think they just need to try and keep them in. Allow them to be free-flowing when they cause issues.
Riley Johnson just breaking up the court. John Bolden, beyond one beautiful pass in that first half, yet to really impose his influence, as Marcus Harrison back to John Bolden, picks it off, and nicely left by Marcus Harrison. Out for an England kick-in. Marcus Harrison, he's communicating with Chris Gordon, who he opts to find. Riley Johnson cuts out, and such beautiful control. Most players you would expect is the ricochet off Chris Gordon. finds its way over the line, and really unfortunate for Jordan Dickey. But for England, it won't matter because they're back in this game. Under 2 minutes into this second half, England won, USA won.
Yeah, pressure pays off. Chris Gordon there just getting involved in the attack, making it really uncomfortable for the US. Jordan Dickey, he won't want to see that one back. But a fantastic start to this second half from England, who look a completely different team following that break.
That they do. It looks as if it was an inspired team talk, and one that I wonder if this is a conscious decision to bring Chris Gordon really into the action, because we're seeing John Bolden and Ed Common really feel that most defensive role.
Yeah, I can't say that Chris Gordon would probably have been happy with his first half contribution in terms of like the amount that he was getting on the ball. England try and get all 4 players involved as much as possible.
Yeah, for me, he was the standout for England on Friday, quietly controlling from deep. So when he's more involved, as he pushes it into Marcus Harrison, that's a crucial intervention from Riley Johnson. Otherwise, Ed Common would have been there to put England in the lead.
Yeah, that was a very important touch. We had a great view of that. We were right behind it. It was going straight for Ed Common.
Already England look far better than what we saw in the first half, and a ricochet once again off Chris Gordon. You're seeing what it means to Adam McEvoy. 3 minutes into this second half, England have completely reversed the scoreline, Charlie.
Yeah, this game has completely flipped on its head, and it's Chris Gordon again, the MVP at the Club World Cup, the Fit for Club World Cup in Paris, a player in some of the best form of his career. Fantastic start to the second half. Such intent shown by England. They've come absolutely flying out of the blocks here, and the US out of nowhere have seen their lead just disappear.
Something we're going to have to ask Adam McEvoy at the conclusion of the game as to the utilisation of Chris Gordon, because he's been far more involved. Please disregard the scoreline. It is England 2, USA 1. It's David Dowling now looking to level the tie straight away. Just a little bit shell-shocked, USA. England have come flying out of the traps as we're going to observe our first substitute of the game. Calls of Boomstick and Mailman ring out in the Steve Daly Hall as David Dowling departs. On comes Pete Winslow. They're really going for it now as Ed Common into Marcus Harrison, engaged by Jordan Dickey. Some contact there from Jordan Dickey, but Harrison deemed the aggressor. So you have to say, savvy work from Jordan Dickey.
Yeah, just got in behind him. Caught Marcus Harrison reversing, very intelligent. That's what the top players do. They win fouls off each other.
Into Riley Johnson, that's a really nice pass that fired through the gap. Too much angle for Lexi here to engage, but that's what they're going to need to do.
It's a goal kick. Chris Gordon just saw that out of play, so a chance for England to get playing again. The impetus now on the United States to try and get themselves back into this game and flip it on its head once more.
Confirmation of that substitute as Riley Johnson now up against Marcus Harrison. I compare them. I think they're very similar players, Riley Johnson and Marcus Harrison. They can play that dribbling football but also mix it up. As Pete Winslow's got his first set piece. Boomstick into Riley Johnson. The power, Charlie, is just unmatched by any players worldwide. Whilst David Dowling did such a brilliant job as kind of his understudy, there is still something about these dead balls from Pete Winslow that no other player worldwide can do.
Yeah, it's power and it's just the precision as well. They're so deadly, just so accurate.
Winslow straight for goal himself, but good organisation from Chris Gordon and John Bolden. Two options for Pete Winslow. Riley Johnson engages, but blocked. Lexi here at the back post. She was a threat there in the first half. Yet to have any real involvement in this second. Nearly 7 minutes in, a potential break as Ed Common looks to flick it or feint to Marcus Harrison. And that's good work from Jordan Dickey. The right decision to award the ball to the USA.
He'll be looking to atone for his earlier error. Yeah, good play all round. And very well done there by Ed Common just to flick it off the back of Riley Johnson. Allow it to roll out for an England kick-in.
Boulding down to Ed Common. Blocked or ushered out by Pete Winslow.
England have been fantastic since half-time.
Ed Common into Chris Gordon, on for his hat-trick. Out for a goal kick. It's a very noticeable change in the wider USA support in this arena. England have almost deflated them, so those four players are going to want the crowds to pick up and be almost that fifth player.
Yeah, that's what it felt like in the first half, attacking the end where their fans were stationed. They just had that little bit of extra drive and impetus, it felt, which has sort of been knocked out of them by those two early goals.
I almost want to completely commend the role of Adam McEvoy. It would have been so easy and so acceptable to change things at that half-time break because nothing really came off, but he stuck with that starting four. The starting four we've come so accustomed to seeing for England, and they've really shifted the momentum. Had just under 29 minutes. Pete Winslow into Riley Johnson. Couldn't get the angle to go for goal or locate Lexi here, but she takes possession eventually. Johnson ricochets towards John Boulding. Has to be alert defensively. Calls for 2-on-1 from Adam McEvoy, and Craig Peaty to our left are heard by Millie Bean. 29 minutes played. England 2, USA 1. And Ed Common. Nicely dispossessed by John Boulding to just shift the momentum.
Looks like the England bench is readying itself for its first changes of the game as well. Chance to bring something different, settle it down.
Marcus Harrison has been called by Craig Peaty. He will leave the court. On comes Dylan Kelsall.
Yeah, England's number 27. Dylan Kelsall, who's one of the first names in the England squad at the moment.
Pete Winslow just lets it roll across his chair, can't quite get the power.
Kelsall brings a very different style to Marcus Harrison. They both are very strong, but Kelsall's great strength is his ability to pass and such powerful balls across the pitch especially. He's a great player to play with in terms of providing assists.
Boulding into Kelsall, beautiful first involvement. He's got the pass now, lets it run across his chair, just wide of the left-hand post. Beautiful football. You can see that round of applause from Captain John Boulding. That's exactly what Adam McEvoy would have wanted from the substitute.
Yeah, great play from England, great play from Dylan Kelsall. Just came on, picked that ball off. Ed Common gave it back to him, and just a spin, just wide of the post. But that's what attacking is all about. Been so much better in the second half. It's really hard to even get across how much better they've been. Just tactically, they've looked so much more sound and astute.
John Boulding to take. Into Dylan Kelsall. Good save by Jordan Dickey, it needed it. Dylan Kelsall can't do much wrong at the moment. A really bright opening couple of minutes. And England have some real sustained territory in the USA half. John Boulding locked in that 50-50 with Riley Johnson. Strong play. Signals to continue. Exactly what we want to see. There may be little bits of contact, but the battle is so good to watch. And Millie Bean is asking for both John Boulding and Riley Johnson to come over to have that conversation about almost temperament and aggression when they're pursuing possession.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where they were both being very forceful, but I think they're really enjoying the battle, and it's resulted in a set ball. Wonder why it could maybe just be left to continue, but I guess if they felt the battle was getting a little bit too strong and maybe safety was in danger, then you can understand why referee Millie Beam would choose to stop it. And there's a booking for Riley Johnson after a foul on John Boulding. I think that was probably something that was said within that little team talk. So you can understand if she's just said the next one of you that fouls is getting booked, you can understand why a yellow card's been produced to Riley Johnson there.
So a really good opportunity via this direct free kick. Chris Gordon just cushions it into Dylan Kelsall. But doesn't really engage it to the pace he could have. Maybe opting to just try and lock it up in this corner. Got just under 6 minutes to be played. Riley Johnson appearing a little bit frustrated.
Yeah, I think there is frustration.
It's a beautiful ball once again, but Dylan Kelsall there to cut out. No real clear options. Just opts to put it in the space and finds Riley Johnson. Such a good opportunity. The initial delivery, get bored of saying it, but completely world class. Riley Johnson couldn't have done much more there. The angle was never necessarily there to trouble Chris Gordon in the England goal. So it goes wide of the left-hand post, but a good opportunity nonetheless.
Yeah, he just wasn't quite in the right place, Riley Johnson. Pete Winslow runs a policy where it just get in a space, find somewhere to be, and we'll find you. And that was a great delivery again. Yes, really being pinned back. They've not had a lot in terms of attacking. You think about those long spells in the first half where it felt like England couldn't get out. We've not seen that really at all in this half.
Patient play from Dylan Kelsall. That's absolutely sensational. I was expecting him to engage that far earlier than he did. But that few seconds in just waiting to engage it created the space at that left-hand post. And 35.5 minutes in, it's England 3, USA 1.
Fantastic finish from Dylan Kelsall. England just set up that press, completely trapped the US in there.
Yeah, he's been bright ever since his introduction. And on that occasion, capitalises brilliantly. And now barring a real shift in momentum, England look to be on their way to victory in this international friendly as Adam McEvoy just readies Dan McClellan to come on in place of Ed Common. Quietly gone about his business in the game.
Yeah, really good shift. Ed Common, he won't have the headlines after this game. They'll belong to Chris Gordon and Dylan Kelsall, but Yeah, as you said, a fantastic shift. Well, this is a very dangerous situation that we've got here for England. Pete Winslow on the edge of the box.
Yeah, they're going to need to score this, you would think, if they're to get back into it. Calls a boomstick, echo out, indirect. So which one of his teammates will he opt to pick? As Ryan Connolly has come on, as Riley Johnson fires it over. Millie Bean has her hand in the air. She's going to have a conversation with Steve Crump. I'm not sure if she's actually awarded this or not as of yet, but she has.
The goal's been awarded. There wasn't really a lot that England could do about that, really. It was just so clinical. They would have had to read it perfectly.
And we've got a real game on our hands. Slight bit of confusion as to the goal itself. Referees needing a conversation, but either way, it's England 3, USA 2. With 2.5 minutes of regulation time to be contested. This has been a sensational fixture of football. Irrelevant of the full-time result, these are two world-class operators which will have strong aspirations in their continental and intercontinental competitions later this year. And as long as we're seeing them in Buenos Aires next year, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic game. Often these fixtures can be really cagey, but this one have been both teams showing what they've got. 3-2 is such an entertaining scoreline, and I'm so glad that it's happened in this friendly. With the crowd that we've got, the spectacle that we have, the online audience as well. They've been really treated to a really special meeting of two Powerchair footballing giants here.
John Bolden desperately trying to prevent Riley Johnson from advancing up the court. Dan McClellan just manages to bypass Pete Winslow. Met by Riley Johnson. The final minute of regulation time. Strong calls from Tracey Mayer to support the attacking action, as you can probably see as he advances up the court. Riley Johnson just being spoken to by Millie Bean. He's obviously already on that yellow card, and the decision goes in Bolden's favour. 30 seconds left. Strong appeals from the American contingent to our right. As Bolden into the centre. Dan McClellan back to Bolden. Takes control beautifully. Just cutting Winslow out of that process. And just engages Riley Johnson, feints, and he's happy to keep that locked up in the top right-hand corner.
Dan McClellan not giving up the ghost on this ball. Dan McClellan, he's got it off Riley Johnson. He's on now one-on-one. It's probably a 2-on-1 in favour of England.
Yeah, Millie Bean does have the whistle in her mouth, ready to blow. And surely the game is over for the USA. We've had 30 seconds over the regulation 20. And I suspect Dan McClellan will maybe just lock this up in that top corner, just to prevent USA gaining any territory in the England half. It looks as if it will be an England victory on home soil. Nothing could separate the two on Friday. Bragging rights were on the line, and it looks as if they will stay in England.
Yeah, it's been a great spectacle. Really enjoyable match to watch, as Millie Bean now does have her whistle in her mouth.
Over Dylan Kelsall, and the full-time whistle has been blown. The second half burst into life straight from the restart. England flying out the traps. Chris Gordon deployed in a more advanced and influential role, set the tone with relentless pressure, and it paid off almost immediately. A rare mistake from Jordan Dickey was pounced upon, and Gordon made no mistake in levelling the score. Just 2 minutes later, England struck again, another well-executed press, and once again it was Gordon at the heart, guiding the ball over the line with precision and intent. 2 goals in 3 minutes, flipped the game on its head. From there, the tempo settled relatively, but the intensity never dropped. The USA found it increasingly difficult to break England's structure and began to show signs of frustration, a few yellow cards as they struggled to regain the composure they had built before the break. Dylan Kelsel's introduction for Marcus Harrison injected further energy into England's performance. He looked lively throughout and was rewarded with arguably the goal of the game, finishing smartly after 36 minutes. USA weren't done. True to form, they capitalised once again from a set piece. This time, trademark delivery from Pete Winslow, met by Riley Johnson, who fired home to bring the score to 3-2 and set up a dramatic finish. But in the end, England held firm. A pulsating second half of football, full of energy, quality and momentum swings, and a brilliant advert for the sport.
Yeah, fantastic advert for the sport. England team now just over there having a moment with their supporters, applauding those in the arena that have supported them loudly with vuvuzelas and drums in today's game. The US support was fantastic as well. As you said, a great advert for the sport. 3-2, a scoreline. It could have gone either way, that game. The US undoubtedly had the better of the first half. The second half was all about England, though. They got a goal back, the US, from that set piece. That is their trademark. It had to happen. And it was a fantastically worked one between Riley Johnson and Pete Winslow for England. Just the strength of England, the ability to capitalise on errors, the patience shown as well. Absolutely fantastic, and it's going to be such a big morale boost ahead of the Italy trip, ahead of that Euros. It's going to be such a huge morale boost to get that win on the board on home soil in front of their friends and family. For the US, I'm sure there is a lot that they've learned from this camp about themselves, about the way that they should play against certain systems, and also just a sense of team togetherness that will have been built by spending the last week living together here at St George's Park. It's been a camp that's benefited everyone. A fantastic, absolutely fantastic advert for the sport, and this international collaboration between these two Powerchair footballing giants will hopefully pave the way for many more things like this to happen in the future.
I completely agree. This is a joint camp that's marked a major moment in the sport of Powerchair football, bringing together two world-leading nations for a week of shared learning and elite competition. It's, of course, held here at the home of the proclaimed English football. It's been a powerful statement across the world, a commitment to raising standards and creating opportunities. And what a way to cap things off. Charlie and I will leave you now. We're hoping to have a few interviews with some of the USA and England squads. Thank you to all that are tuning in. Please stay around for the interviews.
joined by England goalkeeper Chris Gordon after a thrilling victory here, 3-2 to England. Chris, what a game. Sum up the emotions after that one.
Yeah, a bit of a roller coaster, that one. We were on top. A couple of chances to get the ball to the back post, a couple of air shots by Mr. Harrison, but he wasn't best pleased with those. But we knew we were creating opportunities to score goals, so it was a shame to go 1-0 at half time, but we came back strong.
Half time to really sort of that quick turnaround in the second half, first 5 minutes, 2 goals, you're then in front.
Yeah, we said at half time, really, look, get through the first couple of minutes, try and establish some territory, be on the front foot. I think we did that straight from kick-off. If I remember, Marcus got us into the final third really well. We locked them down, and then, look, you need a bit of luck in these games. There's a couple of to see them go in, and it got the momentum going. And I think we just justified the third, and unlucky to concede at the end, but we managed it out well.
The end of a long, arduous, tough week. Just how have you found it?
It's been great preparation. It's been a very long week, as you said. Early mornings, long days. We've got lots of good training in. 2 great games against the US. Good game on Friday night. Bit of a cagey one, that one, feeling each other out a little bit. And I expected today to be an open match. I thought there would be goals. I'm just thrilled we came out on top.
And a message for the fans, some atmosphere here in St George's. A couple of first international friendlies on home soil. Just how proud are you of that?
Oh, it's amazing. Look, playing in front of family and friends, and a large number watching on the live stream. I've had messages all week saying how can we watch from all over the world, Brazil, you name it. So people are tuning in. I'm sure the French have had a good watch this week as well. Look, it's great to have these opportunities. It can only get bigger and better, I'm sure. So I look forward to the next one.
Well, cheers, Chris. I'll let you get off. Thank you to everyone that's watched, and we'll see you in Venice.
Thank you. Cheers, my friend.
Manager Adam McEvoy when he gets a chance. He's bringing a chair. He's not standing up. Oh, told to bring a chair. Okay. Right, Adam. Sum up the emotions after that one.
Pleased, relief. The first half, I think, started quite strongly. The first couple of minutes got it. Good. We really did, and they rightly scored with their set piece prowess again. Which is something that is really deadly. We try to work on keeping them away from the defensive third as much as possible, but they just put us under pressure and then just went from there. She tried to regroup and luckily had a really, really positive start, which really helped.
What did you say at half time to spark that 5-minute turnaround?
I think essentially the key message is we need to try and release the pressure on us and put them under pressure. Those first few minutes, it was, can we get into their attacking third early and try and really put them on the back foot by whatever means necessary, really. If we can play in, great. If we have to dribble it and take it in to get the territory, so be it, because then we can try and look to play from there. A little bit of luck on the first goal, granted, and a nice well-worked corner, which I'm really pleased with for the second.
Just how pleased were you with the impact of the substitutes that came on in the second half? Dylan getting on the score sheet, Dan McLean at the end taking to the corner, doing the dirty work.
Yeah, really pleased. Absolutely delighted. I got a great squad. I'm disappointed I couldn't get some of the other boys on because it would have been nice to have rung the changes a little bit, but with that second goal, just wanted to make sure that we saw the game out. So, but from a Dylan perspective, fantastic finish. That's the type of skill and execution that he can execute, and he's done that so many times before at club level. And then Dan McClellan coming on, just wonderful game management coming on with a few minutes to go. And just seeing things out. Was it pretty? No, but was it incredibly effective? Absolutely. And that, for such a young man, the maturity in the game management, the game understanding he shows is top class.
That's 2 games against US now and a week-long camp. What can you take from those heading into Venice and the Euros?
Initially, I think it's that confidence piece. It's always a tough game when we play the US. Granted, it's normally a World Cup stage, but to have them here for some international friendlies has been fantastic. The first game finished 1-1 in another tight contest. Maybe we could have nicked it at the end, but not quite to be. And again, another tight contest, and we had to earn it. We had to dig deep, certainly in those first first few minutes in the second half and seeing out the first half only one down, and just use that to build on. We've only got a couple of training camps left before we go to Italy for the Euros in September. So it's obviously we'll reflect back and we'll analyse the games and look at where we've done well, but also the things we need to tighten up. Undoubtedly a lot to look at for that aspect, but yeah, we can use that as a real building block to take us into the Euros.
And a message for the fans, you know, a couple of home international friendlies. What has that meant to the boys and to you?
Brilliant. So obviously spectators here today. It's been fantastic to have a lot of people in to make some noise. Obviously we knew that the US would make some noise anyway, but it's great that English fans come in and support the boys because that's what they deserve. And also thanks to everyone watching at home, be it based in England or across Europe or from those watching in the States, because we want to showcase the boys and the players from both sides as athletes and true elite players. And so yeah, thanks for the continued support and continue to do so. We really appreciate it.
Well, I'll let you get back to the squad. Thank you for joining me, Adam, and best of luck in Venice in a couple of months' time.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm being joined by. Am I muted now? Right. Am I? By US coach Tracey Mayer. Tracey, a 3-2 game, roller coaster. Sum it up from your perspective, please.
Yeah, it was a tough one. We got up one right away, and then we didn't bring a lot of energy coming out of the half, and it happens. But that's on us as the coaches, as leaders, to keep our team pumped up and make sure we make those adjustments. And then when that opportunity comes that they score the goal, we have to respond to it. So there are a couple spots in there that we could do better, but you got to give credit to England. They're a heck of a team. I mean, that's to say the least. I'm thoroughly impressed of the caliber of what England brings.
A couple of set-piece goals yet again from your side. Just how proud are you of that weapon that no one seems to be able to stop at the minute?
Well, it's a weapon. It most definitely is a weapon, and we're expanding our game. Yep, we're the set-piece team in the world. That's one of those things that we're deemed as, but we're working on our passing. It's something that, it's proud that we get the goals, but the important thing is to score any way you can. So one day we'll figure it out.
The end of a long week, a tiring week, your first week here. How have you found it as a country coming over and having a camp here?
Oh, it's been awesome. It's this is the first time I've been in England, so it's the people are wonderful. We didn't get very much out of St. George's Park, so not much to get to tour. But after this, when the team rolls out here and go to London and get a experience a little bit more than just St. George's Park. But St. George's Park is a world-class facility. It's been awesome. It's been one of those experiences. Seeing professional teams in here and the treatment by everybody here has been phenomenal. I just thoroughly impressed, thoroughly excited, and hopefully we can start a trend now, the England team coming to our new National Training Center.
Well, that'd be delightful. I'm sure the weather will be better over there than it has been here for most of the week. What can you take from this week, the messages and the lessons going forward into future competitions?
Yeah, we didn't play terrible. We had moments. We got to play 40 minutes. That's a big thing. I say it to the team all the time, and That's why you play 40. We got to play 40 minutes. 40 is important. Look at the film. We'll get out there and we'll look at the film and see what's going on with it and make those adjustments. And again, the set piece is there, but we got to be a little bit more disciplined in our passing and also our defense, most definitely.
Last one, I've asked everyone this. A message to the fans. You know, you've got a large group here, a large support staff. They've made one heck of a noise all week. I can attest to that. The games Wednesday and Thursday were eye-opening for me as a first-time player against you guys. A message for them, because they are the unsung heroes behind every squad and every player.
Yeah, I mean, this is a player sport. I'm not here without them. So it's about the players and people coming in seeing our game for the first time. Too many times people come in and think we're a cute wheelchair sport, right? We're out here, the people in wheelchairs get to do something. And then once they get out here and experience it, especially firsthand, we get believers in our game, and that's important. So the more we can add to the Power Soccer family, it's important. And it's one of those things, if they're first-timers seeing it, I'm excited, and I would love to hear what they say after, what their thoughts of us.
Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming over.
You bet.
Safe journey back, and I hope that you've enjoyed your time here.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Thank you for everything. Appreciate it. Everything's been great, and wish you all the best, and we'll hopefully see you in Argentina, and hopefully we have a rematch.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a rematch at some point in Argentina. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Cheers. Bye.